The night Simon Cowell risked his life on America's Got Talent did not begin with danger. It began with disbelief. The theater lights glowed softly. The familiar hum of anticipation rippled through the audience. And Simon sat in his usual chair, arms crossed, face calm but skeptical. He had seen everything: death-defying acrobatics, escape artists with questionable odds, daredevils who flirted with disaster for applause. Very little impressed him anymore. When the act was introduced, it sounded bold, even reckless, but Simon's expression barely changed. To him, confidence without proof meant nothing. The performer spoke passionately about trust, fear, and the thin line between control and chaos. The crowd leaned in, sensing something different, while Simon raised an eyebrow, silently challenging the act to earn its moment. What no one realized yet was that this performance would not merely test the contestant. It would test Simon himself, forcing him to step out from behind the safety of the judge's desk and into real, physical danger. The stage, usually a place of observation for him, was about to become a place of vulnerability. In that instant, the power dynamic shifted. This was no longer just about an act proving itself. It was about whether Simon Cowell, the man known for brutal honesty and unshakable confidence, would put his own life on the line to discover the truth. As the act unfolded, tension thickened the air. The performer revealed the nature of the stunt, one that required absolute trust between artist and participant. Gasps echoed through the theater. This was not illusion alone. This was real risk, real physics, real consequences. The performer calmly explained the mechanics, emphasizing how a single mistake could result in serious injury or worse. Simon listened closely now, his posture changing, his focus sharpened. He asked direct questions, probing for weakness, searching for any sign of trickery. The performer answered without hesitation, eyes steady, voice calm. The audience watched Simon's internal battle play across his face. He had built his career on judging others from a place of safety, but now the act demanded something unprecedented: participation. When the performer invited Simon onto the stage, the crowd erupted. Some cheered, others shouted in fear. For a brief moment, Simon hesitated. That pause spoke volumes. It was the pause of a man weighing pride against instinct, curiosity against survival. Finally, he stood. Applause thundered through the room, not because the act had succeeded yet, but because Simon Cowell, often accused of being cold or dismissive, was willing to step forward. That single step transformed the performance from entertainment into something raw and deeply human. On stage, everything felt different. The lights were harsher, the distance from the audience shorter, the silence heavier. Simon could feel his heartbeat in his ears. The performer positioned him carefully, explaining each movement with precision. Every instruction mattered. The audience barely breathed. Cameras zoomed in on Simon's face, capturing a rare sight: uncertainty. This was not the controlled environment of music critiques and rehearsed reactions. This was real risk, unfolding in real time. As the act progressed, the danger became undeniable. One wrong move, one miscalculation, and Simon could be seriously harmed. Yet he stayed. He listened. He trusted. In that moment, Simon Cowell was no longer the powerful judge deciding someone else's fate. He was a participant placing his own fate in another person's hands. The symbolism was powerful. For years, contestants had stood before him, vulnerable and exposed, trusting his judgment could change their lives. Now the roles were reversed. The performer executed the critical moment of the act, and time seemed to slow. The audience screamed, judges stood frozen, and Simon closed his eyes briefly, not in fear alone, but in acceptance. Whatever happened next, he had chosen to be there. When the stunt reached its peak, the entire theater felt like it might explode from tension. The act balanced on the edge of disaster, the margin for error invisible but terrifyingly small. Simon remained perfectly still, following instructions exactly as given. The performer completed the final movement, and for a split second, no one reacted. Then relief. Applause erupted like a storm. Cheers, screams, standing ovations filled the space as Simon stepped back, unharmed but visibly shaken. His expression said everything. This was not the polite applause of a successful audition. This was gratitude, shock, and respect colliding at once. Simon took a breath, collecting himself before speaking. When he finally did, his voice carried weight. He admitted how genuinely frightened he had been, how real the danger felt, and how deeply impressed he was by the performer's control and professionalism. The audience listened closely, knowing that praise from Simon Cowell earned under such circumstances was rare and priceless. This was not flattery. It was acknowledgement forged through shared risk. What made the moment unforgettable was not just the stunt, but what it revealed about Simon Cowell as a person. For all his reputation as a harsh critic, he had shown humility, courage, and trust. He did not hide behind authority. He stepped into uncertainty. Other judges reacted emotionally, some with tears, others with disbelief, but Simon's reaction lingered longest. He spoke about fear, about how easy it is to judge from a distance, and how different it feels when you are the one exposed. The act had succeeded not just technically, but philosophically. It reminded everyone watching, contestants, judges, and viewers at home, that true bravery is not the absence of fear, but the decision to face it. Social media exploded within minutes. Clips of the moment spread rapidly, headlines declaring that Simon Cowell had risked his life for the sake of truth and talent. Fans debated whether he needed to do it at all, but most agreed. His participation elevated the performance into AGT history. This was no longer just another viral audition. It was a defining moment for the show itself.